So chat, some of you may know that I was a part of a project called Generation Loss, which was a project by Rambu with the help of Kryken and many others. And, well, hang on a minute. Let's rewind. This was an amazing event. And I was invited to be a bit part, and I will make no lies to you or myself. I was invited due to locational convenience. Well, that and also Kryken really wanted me to be a part of it. And then Rambu and I had also played a game together. We played Among Us VR, and he said, sure, Vinny sounds great. But I will not make any bones about it. I was an hour and 20 minutes away, and it was just super convenient to get me. And I was just happy to be anywhere. So really, really cool to be asked to be a part of this event. Now listen, for those that didn't watch it, I got an anvil dropped on my head. Spoilers, it was amazing. It was a 3-day live event, very similar to Germa's stuff. Germa was in it. And, you know, it was set in an abandoned mall. So this video is going to be the abandoned mall, plus footage of some behind-the-scenes stuff that I did and that others did. And just me explaining some of the stuff that went down. Rambo already did his video, so I'll just do mine now. And should be fun. If you haven't seen it, it might be worth watching, especially if you like weird live / pre-recorded, like insane stuff. Like Germa's previous things. Also, sadly, my camera was set to shit quality. And this is not the highest quality I could have gotten, but I did it to save space, and I forgot that the setting was on. So this footage is not going to look amazing. I'm sorry.
Ah, Gordon Freeman. Good to see you.
It looks okay. So they did a tarp. They actually had to hire someone to put a tarp over the mall because they wanted to light it a very specific way. This was in White Plains, New York. It's called the Galleria. This isn't a video game. No, this is real life. I was here. And you can see, like, some of this stuff has been turned into, like, sets and, like, crew areas. Like, this is one of the sets. This is where the puzzler was blown up. And, you know, this was a lot of money. There was a lot of crew. And here are the other sets from... I might pause here and there, chat, but I'm just going to try to go through this whole thing first. Yeah, so those were the sets. You'll see those soon. I'm pretty sure they changed the name of these just in case for, like, some copyright purposes. But this was the scene where... Like, you'll see across there, they had the streamer areas in the mall. And it was all, like, kind of a subversive, like... If you don't know what this is, it was almost like a little commentary on, like, content farms and, like, you know, managers, like, turning people into just content machines, which I appreciated very much. So here's me exploring some... gross thing, and there's like blood, dried blood on the floor. Yeah. For those that don't know, this mall closed like, what was it? March 30th? And they've had it this whole time, turning it into sets and stuff. Yeah, of this year. So it's a recently abandoned mall. It's going to be, I believe, demolished. And yes, it's in White Plains, New York. That was the ending button. And yeah, the sets were super intricate. There's a little dollhouse reference. Like, I was thinking about continuing, and then I was like, shit, I gotta film the rest of this, because look at how much, like, work was put into these sets. By the way, the crew was incredible. Like, the props department, the set dressing, everyone, wardrobe, these people were amazing at their jobs. Like, they found a great crew, and everyone worked together very well. And they were just holed up in this mall for like a month and a half. More than that, almost 2 months. And there's the empty Sears. So this is where I was. I was on the first floor while this was happening. That was happening live. I think that's Charlie dying. This is where the murder happened. It was a long time ago. It was very sad. But we're all over it now. So here's the control room. And this is how they, like, you can see they're just kind of preparing for day 2. And yeah, they were in there. Criken was in there. That was the brains of the operation. No, I don't think this will DMCA, chat. I think this is going to be just fine. But you can see, yeah, some of these sets, they went... Day 3 was amazing, by the way. I watched that whole damn thing, and I was, like, blown away. I don't have any other adjectives other than amazing. I'm sorry, but... Yeah, I mean, a lot of this was just very, like, good timing, and they had some stuff that just worked out really, really well. And then they dressed a lot of other sets up. So here's my scene, the famous laser room scene.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
I think that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're gonna 1. So we're gonna 1, 2, 3.
Oh, pause. Could you back out just? There you go.
Right there.
We're gonna go 1,
Perfect.
2, and then 3 is when we're left out. All right.
You're gonna have to throw me. Don't worry, I've done this before.
1, 2, 3.
Nice.
It came off. Tell us about the costume choice. I will after the video. Remind me. Wasn't my choice.
1, 2.
That was my idea. Them throwing it up there and having it hit the top like that, I was like, dude, yeah, do it. So then they had to, like, get the smudges off the doll and, like, you know, set them up again.
No, I need Gino. Just a hair more. You're good my direction.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Criken.
A little more to left.
Something wrong with the microphone. You hear that in the right ear? It's like crackly.
All right, and you're good.
Weird.
A little more.
Is that Jake? That's Jake,
All right,
yeah.
and you're good.
Love that guy. This is Criken's footage. Which, by the way, if you want an emote, that's what you want.
Guys, don't worry about it. I got this. I've done it before.
This is where the murder happened. Well, somewhere right over there. But it happened just 5 minutes ago, and no one's over it yet. So, this was the office area that you can, if you watched the event, you saw that this is where all the people were. The security, the guards with their masks. And, yeah. Again, I couldn't believe how intricate this all was. Like, I don't know if they rented these props or bought them. I didn't ask, but this was 2 days before they needed this set. So I actually watched them dress the set up a little bit the week before. Like, they worked fast. And just so much stuff. And then this. It's a shame all that business is going to stop. I don't know why, but Ethan just started brushing. Just started, like,
What's the safe word? Ethan, what's the safe word?
like brooming, rather. Brushing. What am I saying? Brush. But he just started brooming for no good reason and did it in a weird way, so I started filming. Hang on, let me rewind that. I think you'll enjoy. Listen to the audio.
Oyster House. What's the safe word? Ethan, what's the safe word?
Do you have a size 9 over there? Men's would be preferred, but that's, I think, an 11.
So this is me watching now. After my scene I was over and I died, I went down to the green room and was watching it happen live.
I'm in the abandoned mall, and this is the dental and foot care center.
So this wasn't used as a set.
And I just wanted to do a little exploration. Now,
So I decided, let me check it out.
it's a horrible noise. I wasn't even sure if that door would be open, but
What did it smell like? Stale.
yeah, looks all cleaned out. Imagine getting like
Just old
a root
house.
canal in a mall. It's pretty much what you'd expect. And this is only recently abandoned. So
The noise you hear is the tag on my boots. And I'll explain that.
I was gonna say it's not too filthy yet, but it's kind of getting there in a couple spots.
I'm wearing
Don't
boots.
know why the lights are on. I mean, I know the lights are on for the rest of the mall, for the filming locations, but that is the backroom noise personified.
Do not leave remainings or your food.
Do not have babysitters here. Cleaned out. And yet still in good enough shape that I don't feel like I need an asbestos mask.
That was it, really. Not much in there.
Is this where the murder happened?
This is where the murder happened. Somewhere in between there and there. But I don't know when. And truthfully, I don't particularly care. How do we?
What'd you say?
How do I? Hello?
This is where the murder's happening. I know when, and I know where, and I know why.
And yes, that was Criken. So here's just some photos I took. So the quality instantly is way better. Suba. It was a surreal feeling seeing them like dress a fucking dummy in my clothing. Which is to say they just dressed me. Well, I had to actually give my clothing to the dummy, and I'll explain that in a minute. Yeah, that's my real clothes that the dummy's wearing, some of them. Let's just appreciate this moment. Looks like Macaulay Culkin. That was where the murder actually happened. The mushroom. That's where Slimesicle got gutted. One of many deaths. There's the keys. That was a cool prop. I don't know why I took this picture, but here it is for your enjoyment, I suppose. I don't know. Leon, help! Yeah, there's the fucking boots, chat. Like, I didn't have a replacement pair of shoes, so I was just put in boots that, like, someone else would have worn. And we kept the tag on them so they could return them. Cigarette ad. Haven't seen one of those in a while. This is one of the crew members wore this. I love that. Does that not look like Gray Leno? And there's me and the puzzler. And there we are, the three of us together again, except Jerma's maybe been stung. I think I look like Giga Chad. There were a couple of other photos recovered. Now this was found in the dumpster behind the mall, like in a like a filthy like poop basket. So we found this, and this one too. Look at that Giga Chad face. Did you get to keep the dynamite collar? No. No. Unfortunately not. By the way, like, I don't know if Rambo revealed this, but that was like $10,000 worth of prosthetics on Jerma's face. Like, super professional. He was in the makeup chair for hours. Yeah, well, I mean, did you get to keep Jerma's prosthetics? No. He said the prosthetics were the second most expensive. The most expensive was the box that, like, closed on his head. So, yeah, it was great. I was glad to be invited, even if I was a convenience pick. Like, I mean, partially that, but also Kriken just wanted to hang out, and Ranbu apparently was happy to have me be a part of it as well. And Sneeg and Slimesicle Charlie were also very happy that I was there, and they were great. I got to know them a little bit. And yeah, everyone was really nice to me, as I explained in other streams. So I drove up to do my pre-recorded bit. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into because Kriken didn't fully explain it. And I drove to White Plains like last Thursday, and not this past Thursday, but the one before that. And they got me a hotel. So after practice, I just drove up there. That's why I didn't stream last week on the Thursday. And it was like super, super last minute. I mean, I knew about the event, and I didn't fully know what it was, but I knew I was going to get killed. And I knew about that at least, but I didn't know exactly, like, how was I going to do this? How much do I have to film? Am I going to be in any live component? And then Kriken's like, listen, it would be best if you came up today so we could measure you. And we could also, like, for your outfit, and also we can, like, run you through early tomorrow morning and film your scenes. So I said, okay, fine. So I drove up, and the traffic sucked, and I got there, and I got to meet some of the crew. Weirdly, we met at a Buffalo Wild Wings. Now, Kriken's idea was that I was going to be like Luigi with overalls, and that was going to be my outfit. And yeah, I don't really like Buffalo Wild Wings, honestly. Like, there was a steakhouse across the street, and we're at Buffalo Wild Wings, but it was fine. We had better meals the next day and then the next week. But essentially what happened was, you know, they wanted to put me in these overalls, but they didn't arrive. So they tried some other overalls that they bought real quick. They didn't fit. They were very limiting in mobility. They were too small. And so they had a backup, which was the green Squid Game jacket. They wanted everyone, like, color-coded. So my color was green, which is very, you know, fitting. And otherwise, I just wore that shirt there with those jeans. And so it ended up becoming my outfit. The hat was a Kriken idea. I have a feeling he was just fucking with me, truthfully. Same for that little, like, bag around my, like, shoulder. So it was definitely a weird outfit, but I guess it worked. I don't know. So we filmed in the laser room, and we just did the scene. I had a couple lines I had to hit, otherwise we could improv a bit. Every take was a little different, and it was, like, simple, ended up working best. I had not a lot to do, which was great. However, I think aside from Rambo, I had the best death scene. I was so happy. I got to show up, eat craft services, meet some people, and then go home. Meanwhile, Rambo's been living there for, I think, 2 months almost, just to like help figure things out, get the sets the way he wanted to. Like he's a really like he's 19 and he's really, really smart. He's really nice. He knows what he wants from his projects, and he sees that he's been given an opportunity with like the amount of people that like his stuff. And he wants to do like he wants to create. He's inspired by Germa. He's inspired by like horror movies. You know, he wants to do cool shit. And he's real young, and he's extremely like talented in that regard, like in helping put together the team. And like him and Kriken were going over ideas. And if you watched it live, Kriken had his Ghost Commander program, and he got a chance to have live votes, which actually affected the outcome of like who went into what rooms. However, I was always going to get killed by an anvil, just saying. So really, really interesting to see all that work, and it's an achievement, and I was really happy to be a part of it. But so I filmed the anvil scene, and there was some logistical stuff, like trying to get things to work, like how are we going to do this? Like they had a fake anvil as well, but it was still heavy. It was like foam, but weirdly heavy. And it still would have felt really bad. So they ended up just purely using the real anvil on the dummy. And I have, well, I don't know. Can you tell? Is this me or is this the dummy? The world may never know. How did the ground not break? Oh, it did. It did. So it wasn't a lot, but it was enough to notice. So Rambo said they didn't have a backup if you were the one voted on to die in the carousel. That would have been very, very weird. I would not have been prepared for anything. But, I mean, it was a pretty safe bet because a lot of that audience probably doesn't know who I am anyway. I'm your favorite niche micro-celebrity, and I like it this way. But I was really just like... Again, I kind of liked my role. But regardless, they had to do this, chat. They needed my clothing. Now, because I stayed overnight the previous night, I was able to change into my own clothing, like my own clothes, and let them have my clothes. By the way, the anvil ripped my shirt, so now this shirt just permanently belongs to the dummy. It's fine. It's, cheap shirt anyway, it doesn't matter. But really what it comes down to is I was walking around in, like, really awkward boots that barely fit with a tag still on. So a lot of my exploration in the videos, you can hear the tag rattling. So, yeah, I guess that was it for that day. And we were trying to keep it a surprise that I was going to be there from Germa. But, I think Jake, the director, spilled the beans by showing him the footage of me getting pulped by an anvil. So he was still going to act surprised, but... we saw each other so I went up Friday, we had a really good time catching up, and then he did his bit, and my live segment was on the carousel, and essentially, I had to come up with a backstory for my character. Kriken's like, what do you want your lower third to be? And he was like, something silly or whatever. I was like, I don't know, hoarder? So he's like, perfect, you weirdo. So I was like, okay. So... Then I had to figure out, what do I hoard and why would that be useful? So I threw in, if you listen closely, if you watch it, every now and then I'm like, yeah, I don't have that. But then I'm like, I have lockpicks. At one point, Ethan was like, do you have sriracha? I was like, no, I got sriracha mayo. He's like, huh. He's like, you got sriracha mayo, but not sriracha. I was like, yeah. He's like, you got honey mustard? I was like, no, I got... honey and mustard, but not together. So it was just stupid shit. It was really dumb, and I let them kind of have their moments. And, oh, they're screaming again. World's worst hoarder. Well, however, that said, my plan was to implement further that I have like lockpicks and dynamite removal or like things that actually would have gotten us out of that situation, but I'm too stupid to tell them that earlier. So we all get killed and then I mention it. Something like that I was going to do, but the way the show went, I didn't really have time for that. But that was also, Jerma didn't have in-ear direction for like a third of his scenes. So he had to just kind of wing it. He knew his cues, and at one point they had to figure out how to get him some information on like who the chat chose, which was Nikki. So it's a lot. I'm jumping all over the place, but it was fun. It was a little nerve-wracking, but once we started rolling, I wasn't really nervous. I just had to look scared and then deliver my thing. The only thing I wanted to say during my whole, that was all from memory, like my speech about what I hoarded. And I tried to like go over it a couple times, and me and Jerma discussed when I said socks, he would cut me off. The one thing I wanted to say, and I forgot to do it, was pulleys. You like pulleys, right, Puzzler? Of course, I love pulleys. It's part of my traps. I use lots of them. That would have been kind of fun, but I didn't remember to say that. So I got everything else, but that's fine. And then it switches to pre-record, and I get killed with an anvil. So I had a great time, and I didn't have a big role, which was great because then I could go to the green room and watch the rest of it, and then hang out with the guys and get drinks later. Me and Jerma had some really, really, really good conversations. Kriken is obviously, me and him are good buddies, and it's always great to see him. I had dinner with him yesterday. Jerma came down to New York, and we went to Sleep No More, and that was awesome. And we had dinner, and I have pictures of us in front of trash, which I'll show you eventually. So it was just great, honestly. This was like a busy couple weeks, but a genuinely excellent experience, and I loved it. And I made some new friends, and I got to be a part of a thing that, as someone who's been in public access TV, I had never seen a production this big up close. It wasn't quite movie level, but chat, this thing is huge. It has its own IMDb page. And just seeing the amount of like, talent working on this thing for months was crazy. So that's my experience. Whew. Since you didn't get a commission for this, can we say the payment was the dummy you kept? I did ask them for the dummy, and they let me keep the dummy and the wardrobe. So that was just wonderful. What's the name of it again? It's called Generation Loss. So, Rambo is releasing an extended cut. I believe he is, yeah. Vinny, as a Rambo/Vinny fan, I can tell you right now, I was not expecting you to show up, which is honestly exactly what we were hoping for, because I didn't want to say anything. We wanted it to be a complete surprise, and it ended up being exactly that. So it was great. As for the mall itself, I'll just say, since it was so recently abandoned, it was in good shape, and the plumbing was on, the lights were on. I don't even want to know how they got access to this, like, or how much it cost. But it was, yeah, it still was pretty cool. I'll tell you what, walking into it for the first time was an insane experience, especially me, because I'm fascinated with dead malls. And being able to, like, actually walk around and see all the, the stores empty, and then, like, just open a random door. Crazy. So, yeah, they're going to get rid of this mall. I'm pretty sure they might still be deconstructing the sets. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so that's my experience, everybody. Was a great time. As someone who is into dead malls and also wacky productions, this was like a match made in heaven for me. And anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I may upload this without my commentary, as well as this with my commentary. I'm not sure yet. I think I look like Giga Chat. You've got like 5 channels, you'll figure it out. Yep. All right, chat. That'll be that. I shall miss the crew and cast and this whole event. And again, Rambu, thank you so much. And I just am so just beyond thrilled that I got to keep my dummy. All right, let's play a video game.